Hello, this is Max Level EDC, and welcome to another episode of my crazy tinkering and, well, just crazy. Let's just talk about that. Anyway, so I've been playing with the Leatherman Leap quite a bit. It's one of my favorite multi-tools out there. You can tell probably if you've watched any of my videos on YouTube that I am a big talker of this multi-tool, especially for the price point. In fact, I have another Leap coming that I got from a store online for about 18 bucks shipped. So yeah, you can tell these are pretty cheap. I know you can find them for 30 pretty easily. So it puts it in a very, very, very low price point, and it's got a great weight to it without doing anything. It's really light. But I added this husky ratchet, and what I did is I essentially moved the plastic piece that was here, and it was just enough space to fit this, and it passes by the plier head just perfectly. It actually almost looked like it was made for it, in fact. Now that this, as you just saw, it answers one of your questions maybe that you might have. Does this still swivel? And the answer is yes. And as you can see, it will actually hit the metal part of the frame and stop. It actually stops, and it does not flex in any way. In this orientation, it's quite easy to take a screwdriver and use it the same way you would a ratcheting screwdriver. But in the course of setting it up like this, without thinking about it, I actually did this. Now look. Doesn't that look pretty sweet? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't even touch the other side, even though I have a modded scissor that is a little bigger than the normal one. But it definitely doesn't hit the other part of the tool. In fact, this is a little bit smaller than 90 degrees, and by sheer coincidence, it looks like it's about exactly the angle it needs to be to make this straight, which is pretty darn awesome. So it definitely works, and works really, really well. Now, the cool thing about having one like this is that you can use the 1/4 inch socket or the hex, and you don't need anything else. I just put together a little kit with this DeWalt carrier. I actually really liked it. It was like 10 bucks. It was pretty cheap. Now I have added some things. Obviously we have a T8 and T10 security Torx that helps me take apart some tools. I also have this, which allows me to use the 4mm bits, and I got some hexes, etc. I just put those in just because. I even was able to fit the Gerber shard into it, so I have a pry bar option. And I also have the file that I got from the Wave, and I also have an awl this is exactly the way it comes. It's about $2, and this will give me the ability to start holes so that I can more easily get screws into something if I had to do that for whatever reason. And of course I have my pile of 4mm bits in this little Altoids tin. Not important for this. I just want to really focus on the Leap this video for the most part. I wanted to show that this does in fact swivel. It's very, very comfortable because it's going to be fitting in your pocket like this, and the part that's going against your body is either this side or this side, and it's very smooth. So you're not going to feel any of this. You're not going to feel that. You're not going to feel this. Very, very nice and comfortable. What I did to carry it in my pocket is just kind of I just kind of like simply did this. I mean, there's a better solution, I'm sure, but for now, this is what I came up with. No big deal. Okay, and this allowed me to have a dangler. It does add some weight. I'm going to guess it's like ½ an ounce. So it goes from like 4.8 ounces to maybe 5.2, which puts it about the same weight as a PST, a Leatherman personal survival tool, the original. And that puts it in a pretty, very, very, very lightweight class. I mean, this is like comparable to, even with the ratchet, still comparable to like something like the Juice. Now, the last thing I want to do with this, which will once again increase the weight, is to remove these scales completely and put something nice and snazzy on it. We're going to start with aluminum, and if I can find a shape that I'm happy with, I might end up splurging for something a little bit more, well, high-end at some point. We'll see. I haven't really decided yet. This is kind of those tools you don't want to make super expensive. Now you'll notice you see this? This sticks out because there's usually a piece of plastic to stop it, but it's not a problem. When you close it, it will close. One thing that I didn't realize until I took that piece of plastic off is that it's actually set up, if you could see, this is fully in the other side. It's set up to go more into the blade side than it is the side with the extra tools, which is clever, actually. It allows them to fit all these extra tools in with still a large size plier head. That was pretty impressive. I mean, this is a tool that I guarantee nobody's thinking about. Now, listen to that sound. See that? Maybe you can hear it. What's happening is I'm pressing, squeezing, and it's popping this piece of plastic in below this because this is a hollow piece of plastic. It's not very rigid because I need to be able to press this button down, and I don't like that. It doesn't affect the strength of the tool. I mean, all of this is in that steel frame, but it annoys me. So I'm going to replace this and put something much nicer and much more sturdy on. I'm also going to cut it all the way down so that I'm able to actually press in the lock. Now it's going to be less safe, but you get my point. It's not going to be quite as safe as this system is, and of course this was designed for children in mind, but it's going to look great, and it's going to allow me to use rigid material that I don't have to do any of this creative cutting for. And ideally that'll let somebody who makes something really nice like a titanium piece, it'll let them design something custom for themselves if they chose to. So this was a pretty simple that I just took a Dremel and I just cut the inside of that piece out and then sent a piece of nail through it. It actually came out quite easy. When I do this side, I think I'm probably going to end up putting an additional tool. This is the same basic dimension as the tools that come out of the Micra. So I'm going to think about which one I want to add, but there's exactly one slot. It's the one next to the flat between the tweezers and whatever. So I could do that, or potentially I could get rid of the tweezer and put another tool in there. So I don't know. I kind of like the tweezer, so we'll leave it. Even with the ratchet, because the ratchet can fold out of the way. See what I mean? You're not really losing anything by doing this. If I could have 3D designed something that would have gone in here and had a hex, but it wouldn't have this flexibility of being able to slide out of the way and in fact give me a better grip on some of these tools. Like if I pull this out, well, I'm still getting all of the reach that it basically provided before, and it's out of my way. Now, I might not use this as much now because of this, which might give me a reason to switch out these drivers entirely for something maybe more useful. I don't know. Maybe like a nail file. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But I do think that either the internal tools from a squirt or a Micra will fit perfectly in that slot. So we're going to have to play with that a little bit. And I also found out that there is definitely some more room on this side. So if it pushes these down ever slightly more, it's not the end of the world. There definitely seems to be a little bit of space behind these to work with. So a lot of cool things I can do with this still left. Looks like up to 4 tools I can fit in here. And that, I'm definitely taking advantage of it. You know me, I want to maximize the amount of tool density I got. I'm definitely going to keep the smaller Phillips 2D driver. These are so useful, I find, for smaller screws, so I don't have to worry about having something else. And I still have the Phillips. So, I mean, I already have a lot of onboard drivers. I don't need this in addition to it, I don't think. Or maybe I need this one and not this one? I don't know. Just me musing about it. That's basically what I do all day, is think about how I can slightly tweak things so that I don't have redundancy across the tools that I'm carrying in a single day. I like to have like a complete spectrum versus like 3 Phillips drivers or, you know, et cetera, 3 utility blades. I like to keep it completely spread out so I have as many ways to interact with things as I can. But anyway, I know I did a lot of rambling in this one, but I do hope you enjoyed this. This is pretty easy for most people to do, I think. You're going to be able to get this ratchet for $10 from Home Depot and do it yourself. Yeah, it's not too bad. Hopefully, if I can make these scales, maybe even 3D print scales, I will put those designs on Shapeways so you'll be able to print them yourself and install them once you and maybe you want to do this as well. But I'll definitely at least have that available at some point. I'm still not done with this by any stretch of imagination, and I do think it's a great platform, so we'll be continuing with the Leap for a while. It's definitely going to be my carry all through teaching because I can remove the blade, and because I can remove the blade, I'll still be able to enjoy carrying my multi-tool every day without being afraid of, people getting on me. Hey, you got a blade. Nope, don't have to worry about that. There is no blade. Yay. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed, and you continue trying this yourself. If you haven't tried it before, this might be a good one to try. Anyway, you have a good one.